The flight's captain abruptly accused a black female passenger's theft and called for an emergency landing to settle the matter. Yet, at that crucial moment, a staggering revelation silenced him and everyone else on board. Who stepped forward to challenge this injustice? Read on to find out. As Horizon Airways Flight 715 soared into the sky under a blanket of clear blue, the cabin exuded an air of sophistication. The gentle aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingled with the plush leather seats, creating an atmosphere of luxury and tranquility. Passengers settled into their first-class seats, some engaging in quiet conversation, others savoring the calm of journey ahead. Among them was Mia Carter, a poised and impeccably dressed 37-year-old woman in a tailored navy blue suit. A sleek gold watch adorned her wrist, complementing her polished appearance. With an old book in hand, she seemed like any other first-class traveler. But Mia was far from ordinary. As the Director of Public Relations for Horizon Airways, she was on a covert mission to evaluate the airline's service and customer experience. Her role demanded keen observation and discretion, and she executed it flawlessly. Sitting quietly by the window, she turned the pages of her book while her sharp eyes took in every detail of the flight experience, subtle gestures from the flight attendants, the mood of the passengers, and Mia blended seamlessly into the background, her presence unnoticed as she carried out her silent evaluation. For her, this was just another day and a job that required both meticulous attention and the ability to remain composed under any circumstance. As the flight continued smoothly, the calm was abruptly shattered by a sharp cry from the aisle. My wallet's gone," exclaimed Robert Greene, a middle-aged businessman with a tense demeanor, dressed in expensive suit. Passengers turned their heads toward the commotion, curiosity and concern etched on their faces. A flight attendant hurried over, her professional smile faltering slightly as she tried to calm Robert down. "Mr. Greene, please remain calm. Perhaps your wallet slipped under your seat. Let me help you look for it," she offered, her tone soothing. "No need," Robert snapped, his voice rising with frustration. "I'm certain I left it here. Someone must have stolen it." His accusatory tone crackled through the cabin like a spark igniting tension. His eyes scanned the passengers one by one, his gaze stopping on Mia Carter. He pointed a trembling finger in her direction. "You!" he barked, his voice thick with accusation. Mia slowly looked up from her book, her expression composed but steely. "Sir," she replied in a calm, steady voice, "I don't know what you're talking about, but I assure you I have nothing to do with your wallet." Despite her measured response, whispers began rippling through the cabin. Passengers exchanged glances, some casting judgmental stares toward Mia, while others seemed caught in the uncertainty of the moment. The tension grew, thickening the air as Mia maintained her composure, aware that she was under scrutiny for no other reason than being singled out unjustly. The cabin's growing tension was interrupted by a commanding voice from the back. "What's going on here?" boomed Captain Graham, the towering figure of the flight's captain, dressed in a crisp uniform with gold epaulets gleaming under the cabin lights, his piercing gaze sweeping over the passengers. Robert Greene, the agitated businessman, seized the moment. "Her!" he exclaimed, pointing once again at Mia Carter. "I'm certain she took my wallet. She was watching me when I said—" Captain Graham's sharp eyes shifted to Mia, his expression hardening. For a fleeting moment, Mia caught a flicker of something she had seen many times before: prejudice. He folded his arms across his chest, his posture stiff and unyielding. "Ma'am," he said in a clipped tone. The murmurs among the passengers grew louder, some visibly intrigued while others seemed uncomfortable with the direction the situation had taken. Mia remained seated, her expression calm but resolute. Slowly, she closed her book and placed it neatly on. "Captain Graham," she began, her voice steady and deliberate, "I'm willing to cooperate, to prove my innocence. However, I must ask, on what grounds do you have to search my belongings? Do you have any evidence to justify this accusation, or is this based purely on assumption?" Her words hung in the air, slicing through the murmurs. Graham hesitated, his jaw tightening as he struggled to maintain his authoritative demeanor. "We must ensure the safety of everyone on this flight," he said, finally, his tone defensive, though the evasion in his answer was clear. Mia's calm yet pointed challenge had shifted the dynamic. As the cabin watched the confrontation unfold, it became evident that the captain's actions were less about resolving the situation and more about asserting control at her expense. The cabin fell into a tense silence as Emma, a senior flight attendant, approached Mia Carter's seat with a look of reluctant professionalism. Kneeling beside her, Emma carefully opened Mia's bag, her hands moving methodically through its contents. Inside she found only the essentials: a tablet, a small notebook, and a neatly folded scarf. She glanced up at Captain Graham and reported in a hushed tone, "There's nothing suspicious here, Captain." Mia, still seated, kept her composure. She raised an eyebrow and asked pointedly, "Is there anything else you'd like to search, Captain?" Her tone was sharp but measured, cutting through the cabin's growing murmurs. Captain Graham, visibly unsettled but unwilling to back down, gestured for Emma to conduct a second, more thorough search. Passengers exchanged disapproving glances, and the tension in the air grew thicker. Before the search could continue further, a new voice broke through the unease. "That's enough," said Clara White, an elderly woman seated a few rows back. All eyes turned toward her as she pointed a firm finger toward Robert Green's seat. "I saw his wallet fall under his seat before we even took off. Why is everyone so eager to blame this young one?" Clara's words silenced the cabin, and Robert's face turned beet red. He quickly bent down, fumbling beneath his seat, and pulled out his wallet. His expression shifted from embarrassment to shame as he mumbled, I'm sorry. I must edit." The passengers' murmurs resumed, this time tinged with disapproval for Robert and sympathy for Mia. Clara folded her arms and gave Captain Graham a pointed look, as if daring him to continue the charade. Mia, still calm and collected, said nothing. Her silence spoke volumes as she maintained her dignified demeanor, even in the face of unjust suspicion and humiliation. The tension in the cabin began to dissolve, but the lingering discomfort in the passengers' eyes made it clear that this incident had left a mark on everyone involved. As the murmurs subsided and the truth of the situation became clear, Mia Carter remained composed. Slowly, she reached into the inside pocket of her navy blazer and retrieved a sleek metallic ID card. The bold embossed lettering gleamed under the cabin lights. Mia Carter. Raising the card for all to see, Mia addressed Captain Graham in a measured yet authoritative tone. "Captain, before proceeding any further, I believe you should know who I am." The cabin fell silent again as passengers craned their necks to catch a glimpse of the ID. Passengers began exchanging disapproving glances, their expressions reflecting disappointment in both Roger's baseless accusation and the captain's hasty judgment. The whispers turned into soft murmurs of dissent, the atmosphere charged with subtle but undeniable discontent. Mia returned the ID card to her pocket and calmly pulled out a small notebook and pen. Without a word, she began documenting the incident, each detail, from Roger's false accusation to Captain Graham's prejudiced decision to search her bag without evidence. Her pen moved methodically across the pages, her calm efficiency a testament to her professionalism. This quiet act of accountability resonated with the passengers. Many watched in silent admiration, understanding that Mia wasn't just standing up for herself, but challenging a larger systemic issue. As the cabin settled into an uneasy quiet, it was clear that the incident had deeply impacted everyone on board. For Mia, however, this was just the beginning. She resolved that what had happened today would not go unnoticed and would certainly not happen again. As the plane continued its journey, the cabin settled into an uneasy quiet. The events of the past hour had left an indelible mark, not just on Mia Carter, but on everyone who had witnessed the unfolding drama. For many passengers, the incident was a stark reminder of how easily systemic prejudice and unchecked authority could lead to injustice. The baseless accusation, the captain's biased actions, and the collective willingness of some to judge without evidence were all part of a larger, more troubling pattern. Mia, however, refused to let the matter end with the flight. Her role as Director of Public Relations for Horizon Airways wasn't just about managing the company's image. It was about holding it accountable to its own standards. The notes she meticulously documented would serve as the foundation for a formal report that would challenge the airline, confront, and address. For Mia, this wasn't just about clearing her name. It was about using her position and voice to ensure fairness and dignity for every passenger, regardless of their background. She resolved to push for policies and training that would prevent similar incidents from occurring in the future, setting a precedent for accountability. The passengers, too, seemed to carry a newfound awareness. Some exchanged apologetic glances with Nia, silently acknowledging the wrong done to her. Others appeared reflective, perhaps questioning their own biases or the ease with which they had accepted the accusation. As the flight approached its destination, the incident had already become a pivotal moment, a stand against prejudice and injustice that resonated far beyond the confines of the cabin. For Mia, it marked the beginning of a deeper battle for